Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 363 of the HP podcast. I'm Ben, and with me here today, as always, are the beautiful boys, Brandon and Dave. Dave, you're rocking a slick back haircut today, or hairstyle, and I'm digging it.
Thank you. I'm happy to hear that.
I can't hear you, though. Brandon, can you hear him?
Yeah.
I can't hear either of you.
Uh-oh.
That's just perfect.
Well,
I
do you
can
know sign
answer his
language?
question, though, as long
Cool.
as the audience can hear.
I'm going to figure out what that's about. You guys talk amongst yourselves for a while.
Sure. Yeah, so my hair's getting a little long, and but I like it. I don't want to cut it. So I found like one of my wife's like things. I don't know what you call it, clips. And it's been super comfortable just kind of like tying my hair back like this. I don't even care what it looks like. Like if it looks bad, fuck it. Because it's super comfortable, and I actually kind of like the way it looks. So
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah,
I know
yeah.
I'm like, what am I, 8 years late for the man bun? But I don't care. Fuck it.
You're a trendsetter, Dave. Styles never go out if
I'm
you
back.
don't let them. Welcome back, Ben.
Yeah.
Somehow my output got turned to my stream speakers, which don't exist.
Hell yeah.
It's not a thing.
Okay.
I've never
going
even seen the
somewhere.
option.
Yeah, they're going somewhere.
Sorry, boys. I'm sure you had some very riveting conversation while I was dismissed.
Yeah, Ben was Dave was talking about his clip, his hair clip that
It started as a comfort thing, but now I'm really enjoying it. So
You're wearing a hair clip, actually?
I am actually wearing a hair clip. Yeah. I don't care. Fuck it. Call
No,
me
that's.
whatever
I
you
just
want.
didn't realize that.
Yeah.
it looks good. It looks good. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm hard.
And now that my daughter's hair started to get longer, like I'm doing her hair a lot more, so I've just gotten into the habit of like tying hair every day. So now I think like I subconsciously started to do it to myself, and I don't have to cut my hair, and my hair is comfortable. So yeah, it's everybody wins, you know?
Yeah. Derek says I can barely hear Dave and Brandon. They're super quiet. But I don't. You sound totally normal to me. So maybe I also sound. Derek, have you tried turning up your volume? I'll crank you guys up just a little bit here in the back end, but I think it's. You sound exactly the same as always to me. So
Yeah. You guys sound good to me too.
Derek says, speaking of hair, congrats to Bald Ben for going viral for explaining Steam review issues and nothing else. That's a whole thing. I'm going to put this in quotes, right? So this is an exact quote. Yesterday, I was called, quote, bald retard by Asmongold.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we'll get into that at a later point. But
You've made it.
I have some hair, like, you know. I actually don't. It does. The whole like balding thing bothered me when I was 15. And I still got the chicks. So then after that, that was 20 years ago. Didn't really affect me much after high school. So
Does Asmongold have a wife? Oh wait.
I don't think Asmongold has full hair follicles either. And also he's Asmongold. So like it's not really.
We don't even really need to talk about him, you know?
It's only relevant because he's talked about me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't talk about him normally.
Yeah.
Unless it was relevant. Derek says if I go louder, I might hear them, but then Ben will blow out my speakers. Brother, I don't know what to tell you here.
Well, but like here, I was just listening to it, and it sounds.
I can hear you too.
Dave, talk.
Hey, check. What's happening?
Yeah, it sounds completely fine to me. We all
I just
sound really
listened to it.
similar.
Derek,
All right.
you know what?
I've had enough of Derek already. Benji says it's totally fine, so I believe that.
I had another thing I wanted to talk about that's interesting in my head. But do you guys? I think everybody goes down like weird YouTube rabbit holes. You
Yeah.
know, where you just randomly see a video and then you watch one video, even a part of a video, and then your algorithm thinks that's all you want to watch. So my thing's been spider unboxing videos.
What?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So people who collect, or they call it keeping spiders, like people have snakes and stuff like that. So there's people that just keep like exotic spiders. And when you order a spider, like you don't go to a store and get it. Like they actually ship spiders in boxes, and the packaging really isn't all that special. So people just order these exotic tarantulas, like big ones, and they open a box and there's like a little vial inside. And the craziest thing is like they open the vial and like where the spider isn't it immediately like obvious. Like there's usually like a little paper towel inside, and you have to like pull this paper towel out. I'm watching this video like this fucking spider is just gonna like lose it and like jump out. But these are people who like professionally handle spiders, or
They're
do it as
live.
a hobby. So yeah,
Oh,
real live
okay.
spiders, and they're just like they ship them, and it's crazy. I wouldn't describe myself as having like a spider phobia. I think like I am low key kind of like interested in spiders. Not that I would ever keep them or anything, but like
Yeah.
I just can't stop watching these videos of like these massive, terrifying creatures. And yeah, it's been weird. My wife cannot know any of this, and she's right upstairs, so she might know about this. But if she knows that I'm watching this stuff, she's gonna lose it, because she's gonna be like, the next thing, it's gonna be like the beer brewing thing again. Like
Oh, no.
it's gonna be your hobby, and it's gonna take up the whole garage, and there's gonna be fucking beer brewing stuff on this wall and spiders on this wall, and I'm moving out, and yeah. So
Yeah.
Dave's
yeah.
wife doesn't have to worry about like looking at his history and seeing like local milfs, just spiders.
exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know what's worse.
it sounds pretty equal in my book, but
Yeah. Have you guys had weird like rabbit holes you've gone down on YouTube?
I mean, yeah, but not that weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
dude-
think, like mine have been like, occasionally I'll get into like watching a guy unplug storm drains, but not unboxing live spiders.
I did this the other day and then it polluted my algorithm. Gym content on YouTube is like huge, and I wasn't watching gym content. I was watching a gym influencer talk about like a 20-year-old kid destroying his body with steroids. And I just found it very interesting because it was like a very scientific analysis of what this young person was doing to their body and how they ended up looking like they're in their late 30s because they did all this stuff to themselves. And now my feed is just thinks I want every fucking gym content that ever existed. I'm just going to go in and start clicking not interested because I watched one video, a single video about it, and now my shit is just rife with gym bros.
Does anyone think the algorithm's a little bit too sensitive?
In a lot of ways, yeah. I don't know that it's too sensitive. I just think it doesn't truly work as well as they think it does. Like, I think it sometimes can strike and you can find like really cool stuff, but I've found a lot of the time it shows me shit that I do not give a fuck about or that I don't want to see at all.
Right. I feel like if I watch like 10 seconds of a video and then move on, like that shouldn't prompt the algorithm to only show me that for the next 5 days. If I
Right.
watch like a whole video that's pretty long, or like watch 2 videos or something like that, then maybe that. But algorithm, if you're listening, like you're too sensitive.
Yeah, I think that Twitter is probably the biggest offender. In fairness, that's 95% of, outside of YouTube, if I'm on any kind of social media platform, it's Twitter. Brandon disappeared from the stream.
He'll be back.
He's still here. I see him.
There he is.
Did you
Is
did you
Derek
do that, Dave?
fucking with us?
I didn't do anything.
Okay.
It was
Anyway,
the algorithm that did that.
if
You
I'm
angered
on Twitter, it like if I scroll over something at all and like hesitate, that's all I see for a week.
Right.
And I'm like, and then of course, because there's more of it, I'm scrolling over it more and maybe pausing on it briefly. But I don't want my whole feed to be that.
Yeah.
You look at one furry for too long and then you are doomed.
I'm like, I
You
think I
are
recognize
absolutely
that guy.
doomed. Is
And
that a
then-
mascot? Because you thought it was a mascot at first, but
Yeah.
then you saw its dick was out.
Yeah.
And, it like pans down and then you're like, well, I now have to pour bleach in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
what
true.
football game is this? Oh.
It's gonna do like a flip, or it's gonna slam dunk a basketball or something.
That's
and
a
then
different
next
kind of twirl.
and then next thing you know, it's spread assholes in front of you, and you're like, well, now I am cursed. Now I am cursed for 1,000 generations.
Derek has asked, are you guys excited for the Tamagotchi Life Direct tomorrow and then regular Nintendo Direct next week? Just out of spite, I'm not answering that question, but I do want to say, like, are you trying to be the Nintendo version of Radic? Is that what's happening here? Because you got to step up your game if you are, because like that's not trolly enough, because no one is interested in the Tamagotchi Life Direct. So, boys, this is the HP podcast. We talk about video games. We can't see or hear each other half the time. It's episode number 363. If you want, somehow we're still having these issues this far in. If you want to help support us, and God have mercy on your soul if you do, you can go over to patreon.com/handsomephantom, sign up for as little as $1 a month to get ad-free early access to the audio version of the show. And you can also hang out with us on Discord.
If we get 1,000 patrons, then we'll hire a technical director.
No, we won't.
It'll be me, and I'll make it worse.
If we get 1,000 patrons at the $1 level, that will still not be enough to cover a technical director, I'm pretty sure. Let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
I pay in sexual favors.
Where's your gun?
Where's my gun?
Uh-oh.
It fell. I can't lie to you guys. It fell.
Oh no, did it break?
Yeah, I got to glue it back together.
Oh, no.
Damn.
It's not broken, Ben. It just came apart.
Okay. Well, that's
so
fine.
I got to super glue it back together. I cannot lie to you. It's part of it's right there. I was walking by because it was on the edge of the desk, and I think the wind from me walking by or my side clipped it, and it was like, you know, whenever like a Lego character dies, they just like explode. It was like all of the pieces came apart.
Yeah, that'll happen. But
I'll
here's
get it
the thing
fixed.
about that. Like, that sucks that happened. I'm sorry that happened.
I'm sorry that happened.
Well, it doesn't. You don't have to apologize to me. Once you give a gift to someone, it is then theirs, in my opinion. If you wanted to take that after I gave it to you and destroy it, it might upset me a little bit, but it's yours to do with what you want. And also, I already spent like 35 or 40 hours on it, and I'm not helping you fix it. So
No.
luck.
I would never ask you to fix it. I'm fixing it, and I'm saying I feel bad because I like it, and I'm upset that it fell.
yeah. Well, good. You should feel bad because you're a monster.
I know.
Your sides are too big or something.
Yeah, dick's too long. Or sorry.
Yeah. That's what caused the wind.
My wind knocked it off. How fast are you running?
I'm fast as fuck. I'm fast as fuck, dude. I had my slippers on. Give me extra traction.
Let's talk about some video games. The Xbox Developer Direct happened last week. I'm not going to go through everything. Dave, Benji says, what type of gravitational pull does Brandon have by his desk? It's not the gravity you got to look out for.
I can't give all of my ginger secrets away. There are like trade secrets, or like, you know, race secrets, specifically, that I can't really elaborate on in this space. It's not a safe space to elaborate on ginger secrets, ginger plots.
Well, plus the Ginger Society will come after you.
They're always watching.
Yeah. Kind of like the magicians. If you reveal a secret and you're a magician, you're like blacklisted. It's kind of like that, I think.
Yeah. They put
I
you in
wouldn't
a
know.
straitjacket with the fishes.
I'm not like a full-on ginger. I'm only like a beard ginger. So,
You're like a mudblood, yeah.
Dave, what are you excited about what do you think of the Xbox showcase, and are you excited about anything?
So there's 4 games announced. Fable and not announced, shown off. Fable and Forza Horizon 6 were obviously the 2 headliners, I suppose. And it was really nice to finally see Fable. Like, I know we've had little teases and stuff over the past few years, but now, like, we've got a release window. I don't know if we got an actual date, but it's coming later this year, at the end of this year. And we got to see a lot of the gameplay and kind of, I think that the biggest thing for me was they seem to have really captured the personality and the essence that the original games had, which is something that makes me very happy. I really enjoyed the original Fable games, and aside from Peter Molyneux promising the world and delivering just kind of an okay RPG that had, um, a pretty groundbreaking, decision making, evil good mechanic that kind of transcended games for years afterwards. Um, were really, really fun RPGs, and they were quirky and they were funny, but they also had really good combat mechanics, and like you really had to make compelling decisions. And I'm looking forward to this, and my expectations are low because I think this is more going to play into nostalgia rather than, this isn't going to be the sort of RPG that competes with like a Baldur's Gate, like that's just, or something on Bethesda's level. I think this is just going to be a really solid. It's going to be like Avowed. Like it's not going to, be a world beat or anything like that. But I mean, for someone who grew up with the games, I think they're going in a really good direction, and I'm happy to see that. The other game was Forza Horizon 6, and I think it's pretty impressive considering how sought after the location of Japan has been in this franchise for so long. It's pretty impressive how dull they made this reveal.
I thought you were going to say something like that.
Yeah, I don't, and don't get me wrong, I'm still really excited. I love Forza Horizon, and I'm still gonna play this game, and I'm sure I'm gonna love it. But like, for me, Forza Horizon is all about the spectacle and the showcase events where you're like racing against a plane or jets or like some like crazy thing going on, and the music and that kind of stuff. And I got no fizz from that reveal, and it was just really kind of a downer. They talked a lot about stuff that really just doesn't move the needle for me, like you can customize your garage, and who fucking cares? It's a Forza game. It's about the driving, it's about the location, it's about the music, it's about the cars. And like earning wristbands to open up like a secret island where you can drive around, and I'm just okay. And they talked about like how the narrative, like you're not playing like you're playing like a nobody in the Horizon Festival. I'm like, that doesn't matter to me. So I don't know. I really struggled with kind of the things they keyed in on in that reveal. And yeah, I really hope in the months and weeks leading up to it, we see a little bit more of the stuff that really kind of keeps me coming back to this series. I went back and I looked at I watched the Forza Horizon 5 reveal trailer, and I'm like, that was incredible. There was no text on that screen. It was just showcasing the locale, showcasing some of the cool cars, that Mercedes concept car at the time, and the Bronco was one of the headline ones, and all the cool like biomes and stuff that you race in, like driving up to a fucking volcano and going down the Baja and like Cabo and all that cool stuff. And then I like compared it to what they showed last week, and I'm just like, this, I don't know, man, this it's just a reveal, it's just a trailer, it's not a big deal. But it's I was really kind of disappointed from that. But again, I'm sure the game's gonna be fine. So rant over.
Cool. I'd like to play Forza Horizon 6. I'd like to go back and play Horizon 5 again as well. But I have decided and I'd like to go back and play GT7 some more. But I've decided I don't want to play any more racing games without a wheel, and I'm too cheap to buy one at full price. So I've been keeping my eye out for one, specifically the Logitech one that I think works with PlayStation and with PC. I'd mostly use it on PC, but obviously GT7's only on PlayStation, so I'd want one that was compatible with both. So I know the wheels I'm looking for. I just also know that it's not going to consume enough of my time to pay basically half the price of the whole console to buy one. So, but I love Forza. I do like Forza games a lot. Brandon, anything that interested you specifically?
Yeah, Beast of Reincarnation was there. There was a little bit of that, and I just want to touch very briefly on this. I think it's really interesting that Game Freak is making this game specifically when they've lacklusterly put out Pokemon games for years. Part of me always thought that maybe they didn't have the capacity to make anything more than a Pokemon game or like any sort of ambition. But this just goes to show that every Pokemon game that has come out has been intentionally designed to be a certain way and not push forward for the sake of saving money. That's my take on it, and I feel like it is a little bit of a slap in the face. Now, these are very different games than Pokemon games. I am not stupid enough to not think that. But with the way this game is shaping up and what we've already seen, it really, you would have not paid me enough money to bet that this was Game Freak. Like, I would have never taken that bet. So that's kind of an interesting thing to me, and I'm going to keep my eye on this one just because I'm a little bit hesitant. No matter how good it looks, I know at the root of that there's some stinks. So just kind of interesting. Inversely to how Dave felt, I was pretty hyped about the Forza Horizon trailer. I do agree with him in the sense that it didn't give the normal vibes, but I think that they kind of positioned this trailer to be more of a clean tech demo type trailer rather than a blowout. Like, there will be another trailer that's going to be the blowout with the music and the ramps. Like, that will happen. Why they didn't lead with that to get the hype up, I don't know. But I think maybe they're positioned in such a way, the last Forza Horizon sold so well, maybe they just wanted to show off the new things that they brought, which are inherently not as exciting. Like, the franchise itself sat in the best place it's ever sat its last iteration. So I think they maybe were just going the route of kind of showing off what's new, which isn't always as exciting than the heart pumping moments that these games give you. So I do agree with him mostly, but I thought it was a lot of fun. Even though I don't care much about the whole, garage customization and the building your compound or whatever you want to call it. I do think that's interesting. And the fact that you can kind of participate in that with friends and kind of another creative aspect, because that's one of my favorite parts of these games is the creative aspect. And obviously that goes towards the car section of that medium. But it will be kind of cool to have that car culture be reflected outward in different ways as well. So I kind of thought that was interesting. A nice tack on, but not really necessary, I guess, but kind of cool. I see myself customizing the garage more because that's physically where the cars will be, other than worrying about what my house looks like. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I could not be more excited for this. I am so fucking hyped. I've wanted to play another Forza game. I will be there day one. And I'm so hyped. The biggest map they've ever made, which is really cool. I thought, Forza Horizon 5 was pretty big, and I was pleased with that, so it'll be really interesting to see how they vary the locale, especially with the tech that they've used from 4 and 5, moving forward with the changing seasons and the different, atmospheres. So, and they also said the biggest launch roster of cars, which is really cool, because that's obviously the whole point. So, yeah, this really tickled my fancy and made me quite erect. So, I'm ready, man. I'm so fucking ready, and it's about damn time that we got to Japan. And I have very little reason to believe this is going to be an absolute banger on day one, because they have tried true methods year after year. So, well, every couple years. But one last thing I do want to touch on is the progression system that you were talking about. I also found that to be kind of interesting. It kind of reminded me something akin to a Need for Speed Most Wanted, where you slowly go up the ranks of the criminal enterprise. So I thought that was kind of cool. It kind of felt like a throwback to some of those older games where you start off with nothing and then you continue to progress through this thing. So I think that's kind of cool. Definitely not reinventing the wheel or anything like that. But yeah, I thought it was good, and I'm excited for what they've brought that's new. Even if it's not like the most exciting, like the decorations and stuff. I think it'll be a cool aspect. So a reason to sign up for Game Pass anyway.
Why don't you just buy it?
I probably will.
You bought the last one.
I bought it on Xbox, yes.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Fable being day one on PlayStation but Forza not being day one on PlayStation.
I think that Forza will probably sell more copies. That's why.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that Forza is a game that people want to come and play, period. So they know that you will either sign up for Game Pass on one of the millions of devices, or you'll play it on Xbox and they'll get all the revenue. Fable, I think, even though it is a beloved franchise, it's a beloved Xbox franchise once again. And people outside of that system, maybe who haven't played it before, who have never had an Xbox or played it on PC, probably don't have as much of an interest in it. So they're trying to expose people to essentially a reboot of a franchise. They're trying to get more people in the door because it's less likely, I think, people would invest in services or products for Fable than they would for Forza. It's a total guess, but that's my gut.
I think didn't they sell a shit ton of Forza when it launched on PlayStation? Like,
Yeah.
wasn't it one of the
They did.
best-selling games last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Probably
was
gonna
one of
see
the
two peaks. So you launch on PC and Xbox, and then a year later you put it out on PlayStation and do the same
Yeah.
thing happen again.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like out the gate, unfortunately, even though it is beloved, right? I just think Fable will do better if it's available everywhere first. And inversely, people will wait, that don't have it. And the hype needs to be there for Fable for people to buy it day one on PlayStation, I think. Because even though it's great, it's single player too. And the hype will continue with 6. Like it'll just grow, and it's supported for a long amount of time.
The one game that they showed off that we haven't mentioned yet is Kiln from Double Fine. And I don't really feel any particular way about this kind of game. I don't know if it's for me or not. It doesn't look like it, but it'll find its audience. An online multiplayer Party Brawler is what it's being described as. It doesn't matter, but I feel some sort of way about Double Fine. Like, I've always appreciated Double Fine. I like the original Psychonauts. I remember when Brutal Legend came out. That was awesome.
So good.
So
good. That's a time capsule game for sure, man. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
you can never recapture that magic, not even with a remake. I feel like it's just perfect the way it is.
The original Costume Quest was a lot of fun. Then they had Stacking, which was very niche, but it was cool, especially for, like, I don't know what, 2009, 2010, something like that. When it came out, there wasn't a lot else like that. But then, like, since then, they've had steady work, and they've done some different things for different people, and they've worked on some high profile projects. Like, I think they worked on a Sesame Street game, and they worked on one of the we talked about the Connect right before the show. They worked on the Connect Party, I'm pretty sure. Like, they've done some interesting stuff, but they've just never really broken out. And maybe that's okay. Like, there are studios that are never just going to break out and be mainstream, and maybe they don't want to be. But I just feel like they've got so much potential, and it's never been relevant to me specifically.
Yeah.
They're obviously very successful.
Yeah, they're just kind of like Double Fine, They're not double great.
Is great better than fine, or?
What do you think, Ben?
Well, I was just trying to figure out the point you were making.
Ask me how I'm doing.
How you doing?
Fine. Ask me how I'm doing.
How you doing?
Great. Which one sounds better?
They both sounded so
Second one
non-committal.
sounded sarcastic, but
Yeah.
I know the point you're trying to make.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. If someone tells me they're fine, I'm like, okay, what's wrong?
Right.
Like
Or
someone
if your
tells me
wife, if you ask your wife how she is and she says fine, then you know it's not as
Right.
good as if she
Right.
says great. Yeah.
and she's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just guessing. I don't have a wife.
I get what you're saying. They're double fine. Okay. That's it. There's a couple notes in chat here. First of all, Grief said that wheel is $359 on Amazon usually with the gear shift. I saw it at Target for like $250 over the holidays.
That's
but it wasn't.
regularly on sale here for $2.99.
Yeah, it wasn't at my local Target, and I didn't want to order it because I just didn't. So $359. If you're paying $359 for it, you're probably overpaying what you could get it for, because I see it on sale very frequently. And if it's $299, In Canada, it's probably down to like 179 in the US.
Is it
to be
ever on
realistic.
Mac?
Yeah, it's been on there, but I've never wanted to pay for a used wheel what they want, like what it goes for.
Marketplace?
Did you not buy a wheel?
So I did buy a wheel and it didn't work. So I
Oh.
returned it, got my money back, and it wasn't that wheel though. It was a worse wheel, and I got it for like literally $15 or $20 because it was on MacBid where Brandon's talking about. And it was on MacBid for a reason. It didn't work, so I returned it.
Dude, I don't know though. I know you said you want to wait to play these games, and I don't know. I've played pretty extensively on a couple wheels that people have had, and although it is cool, it is kind of a pain in the dick, and you're kind of. I just don't want you to hold yourself back from an awesome game just because you don't have a peripheral that's like.
No, I've played every racing game.
Well, I know, but moving forward,
I agree.
Yeah.
Playing an arcade racer on a controller, for me, I think is the way to go. I think playing a sim on a wheel, I can make a case for that. But the investment for an arcade racer, I don't know. I mean, do what you want, but
Yeah. I mean, I'm not just looking at it for one game either. Like if I buy a
True.
wheel, I'm gonna have it for a while.
Pod
Presumably.
Racer,
Play Pod Racer with it.
yeah, with the gear shift, dude.
Yeah, no. So to be clear, like I'm probably gonna play the new Forza when it comes out. I hope I have a wheel by then. But what I'm getting at is like there's been a couple times where I've thought, man, I should hop back into GT or back into Forza 5 and just been like, I don't have a wheel. I kind of don't want to do it. Like I've had the experience with the controller for 30 plus years now.
Right.
I've only ever played with a wheel once or twice at a buddy's house and at the arcade, literally. So
Yeah. Oh, sidestep because we talked about pod racers. Just so you know, Dave, I now have an informed decision on Star Wars because I've watched some movies. So you can no longer say that I am an informed hater.
you said you've watched some movies. You need to clarify what that means.
Okay, so I watched the one where Anakin kills Darth Vader kills the children. I watched that one. I think it's the third one.
yeah.
The second one, but
Is it?
wait. No, you're right. It's the
And
third
there's unlimited power.
Yeah.
Do it. That one. And then I watched Solo, which was
Oof.
great. Which was great. Dude, it's great. What are you talking about? It's a fun movie, bro.
Solo is one of the
Okay.
best new Star Wars movies.
It's great.
No.
And I also watched most of Rogue One, but at that point it was very late and I was like drifting in and out of sleep.
Rogue One is pound for pound the best Star Wars movie there is.
So I need to rewatch that, but I now have enough ammunition in my belt to say that you guys are shills. No, they were actually really good. I'm not.
Well, that's fair.
They were really good. I just want to give you shit because you say that I make an
No, you're wrong still because you've seen one movie out of the middle trilogy and two standalones.
That's
You've
enough,
not seen
though,
any other
because
movie.
He watched 7 minutes of one movie. And
Yeah.
said
No, dude,
The entire saga sucked. But I think he's watched enough now to say he doesn't like Star Wars.
I watched the beginning of Darth Vader. You know, I watched the beginning of the making of Darth Vader. I watched an excellent.
What? That's not a movie.
It's a random documentary.
I watched
Put the wrong VHS in there.
I watched. I got the bootleg. I watched the Solo. I watched the one with Rey, and I watched most of Rogue One. So that's like 3.5 movies. Okay.
But it's not the original trilogy. That's the only one I will hold near and dear to. The other ones I'm like, okay, if you have your problems, that's fine. The original trilogy is very corny and very dear to me.
And I think that's why I don't want to. Like I think that's why I am less interested in it. I feel like it's a time and place sort of thing.
Brandon, at the end of the day, you're still my friend. I really don't care what you think of Star Wars, whether you love it or hate it. It doesn't really matter to me as far as my normal life goes. And I won't think less or more of you as a person if you love it or hate it. But to think you have any authority to talk about an entire 40-year generation or 40 years of movies by seeing the third movie in a trilogy and two standalones is preposterous.
Yeah, but like like sometimes you just know when something's mid, even by watching some of it. You know what I mean?
It's objectively mid.
I
he's
knew you
still
were
an
trouble when
asshole.
you walked in. Yeah.
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 Do you guys know what rage baiting is?
I'm very familiar with rage baiting, I can assure you. A couple more comments in chat just because I feel like it. Beast feels like Game Freak saying, "Hey guys, direct your hate elsewhere. We actually know ball." Beast feels like actually a game that will come out and be very disappointing, or they will never make a Pokemon game again because it will be so awesome and sell so well. It's one of the extremes. It's not going to be just fine or double fine even.
Dude, yeah, it'll probably be like double shit. But yeah, I think the game will probably look good because they're gonna have like such a boner to pick, and it'll probably be the most boring, uninspiring game of all time.
Did you say boner to pick?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Radek came in and said, "Yo, Ben, why did you DM the trailer for Tamagotchi Life? I get that you're hyped, but that was random AF NGL. Not gonna lie, I know what that means, Radek. I'm not that old. Yeah, sorry, Radek. I just thought you'd want to know about it. Dave, you were asked if you ever played Drive Club. I don't know why.
I
We
did.
were talking about Forza.
Drive Club's mid.
I
Elden
played
Ring
Midnight Club though.
at Midnight Club Dub Edition, baby.
Yeah.
Elden Ring on wheel is how the pros play. Actually, that's a really good point. I'm thinking about picking one up for that exact reason. I'm not playing the next Elden Ring until I have a wheel because I feel like I've been playing on controller for 300 hours or 1,000 hours now.
Grief clarified it's the Logitech G29. He's talking about at 369. That's also the one I'm talking about, the one with the shifter that I'm talking about. 320 or 359 is too high. If you want to pay that for it, that's what it retails for, but it's constantly on sale below that. Set a price reminder or something like that. I fear Kiln will be $30 and price themselves out of the player base who wants to play the game for like $10 like Peak or Gang Beast. I have so many thoughts on pricing that we don't have the time for it. Solo is the best Star Wars movie, Radek says. I don't think
it's Radek. Never mind.
I mean, I don't think it's the best. I said it's one of the best, but now I'm reconsidering because Radek says it. He watched the good movies outside the original trilogy. Yeah, sure. That works for me. All right, let's move on to story number 2. This one comes from GameSpot. It says the survival of graphics card manufacturers is on the line, says GPU maker Zotac. The ongoing crisis with RAM pricing and the associated knock-on effect is having on numerous consumer electronics. Let me start over. I got the emphasis on the wrong syllable. The ongoing crisis with RAM pricing and the associated knock-on effect it is having on numerous consumer electronics still has its worst days to come, according to Zotac. In a message to its Korean customers, the company announced that it is suspending its 2% rewards program in the region in a bid to try to sustain GPU pricing for as long as it can, citing growing concerns with escalating prices and an existential threat to the industry as a whole. Citing the same concerns over current memory prices and the increasing cost of silicon, Zotac has warned its customers that stock for many current generation GPUs might dry up for a long time. There's more to read here. We don't need to dive into it anymore. Boys, we already know this, but the gaming hardware market is boned. Like, it's over. I saw Power GPU, who builds computers, does a lot of custom stuff, and does more mass market stuff too. Came out with a video today or yesterday that was basically explaining, like, look, we're doing everything we can, but this is the reality we're dealing with, and that's what we have to do too. So it's a known problem everywhere. The new PlayStation, I think we're going to talk about that next, aren't we?
Yeah.
We'll get there in a minute. It's kind of tied in, but like that, they're saying that one's probably going to be delayed. It hasn't even been announced yet, and it's already delayed because of all the ongoing hardware shortages and the insane prices that they know consumers aren't going to be able to pay, by and large. Dave, what do you think of this? As someone who for years thought about getting a new computer and now is hoping for a Steam machine, this impacts you more than it impacts Brandon and I, probably, in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the barriers to get into this hobby are getting bigger and bigger, whether it's scarcity of GPUs or now RAM is the problem, or just, a price tag that it just kind of excludes way too many people. It's tough. And I mean, I think the larger video game developers around the industry have to be looking at this and saying, Like, yeah, we have a significant install base with our console audience, but this is going to be a problem, and I don't know what the solution is. And we've talked about streaming for a long, long time, and how, the technology just isn't there yet. I have to think that there's going to be a push for this in the next 5 to 10 years to be the dominant thing, because that's the only thing I can think of that's going to kind of, I don't know, quell this wave of just uncertainty. Like, people are just going to find other things to do if you can't afford a PC or a next gen console. Like, I think $1,000 is reasonable for next gen as an entry point, but some of the stuff we're seeing suggests that it's going to be a lot more than that. So I don't know what the solution is, but yeah, it's not looking good for people like me. And when the Steam Machine was announced a few months ago, I thought, okay, that might be my entry point. But the more I see, the more I'm like, this is not going to be priced in a way that is accessible to the masses or myself. So
Unless they put in a massive order for all their components.
as you said, maybe they were stockpiling stuff for a long time, but then you're at risk of, you sell out of all of your initial stock, and then you have to go back to your suppliers, and then you're buying at a new price, and you jack up the price after launch. Like, you can't do that. You kind of have to price strategically for the long term.
Well, you can if you're Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah, apparently.
If you're PlayStation, yeah.
But I mean, that's a killer, because I think, the Steam Machine is still going to be a niche piece of hardware. So, I don't know. I feel privileged to be able to own the hardware that I have. But I'm also thinking that focusing on retro gaming is getting more and more attractive.
Yeah.
Honestly. But
yeah, but how will you be in the conversation, Dave?
I won't.
Wow. What good are you?
Breaks my heart.
Brandon, your thoughts?
Yeah, we've been talking about this pretty extensively here, and we really are kind of reaching a point of no return, and it's going to continue to bubble. I think we need to make like widespread systemic pushes towards fixing this issue, because it's not going to get any better as time goes on. Like, there needs to be a shift in focus almost. I think once the AI bubble does pop, and it inevitably will,
In some way or another. Yeah.
it'll never go away, but I think that it's continued to amass in a way that it's not sustainable in the long run. I think even if it takes 10 more years, there will be a point in which it starts to slow down. But I'm not waiting 10 more years to buy a GPU. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think there needs to be some systemic changes. And I think that also I'm a little concerned for the console sector in this as well, like Dave said. I mean, I know these companies will have projections on what they're able to sell, and I think with the increase in hardware pricings, I think they will never be able to sustain the amount that they have projected, simply because the price will make people fall off, and that's what we've seen in the past. So yeah, I don't know. I'm worried for them, and I hope they come into the next generation with a reasonable understanding that, they might not be able to incrementally increase their headcount, their install base, because the sheer price of the machine is more. And I kind of hope they do some pre-planning and some understanding of the market ahead of time, and they don't set themselves up for failure and, set investors' expectations too high, because then we will see companies we care about deeply in very peculiar financial situations. So I kind of hope everyone as a whole realizes that this is a systemic and long-term problem that isn't going away, and we come up with some sort of long-term solution. But it doesn't seem to be the case right now, or for the foreseeable future, unless something major changes. So,
yeah. Well, let's hope that it can still remain accessible for some people. I mean, I think this is where, or for the majority of people, I think this is where things like Game Passes, or like remote play, whatever, like cloud gaming, like a Fire Stick's like $29, and a Game Pass subscription is, I don't know what it is now. It doesn't matter. Not as much as a $1,200 RAM stick, right? So like those things do become more and more appealing to people who are not hardcore gamers, which does keep them in the market longer, especially as prices go up for hardware all over, whether it's console or PC. It's not going to be a fun few years, but I'm just very thankful. My wife, whenever I was debating about what pieces to put together for my computer, I was like, I could get this or I could get that. And she's like, get the better one that costs more money because that's the one you want and that's the one that'll stick around longer. And I'm glad she did because I would have cheaped out, and she encouraged me to just spend what I needed to spend. So I'm good for a little while, but once it's time to upgrade, it's going to be even worse, I'm sure, by that point. So we'll see as time goes forward. I also wonder if this will start any kind of thought process or more options or anything like that for developers, because the reason we consistently need to upgrade our hardware is generally because we need to have more and more demanding games. And I just wonder, like, will the hardware constraints and pricing impact development at all as well? Because the average GPU that Steam catalogs is like a 3060 or something like that. I think it's somewhere in that range. And developers aren't building for that now. So will they hold off on continuing to push forward? Probably not. But it'll be interesting to see it either way. Grief says the wheel is $249 at Walmart. Consider it purchased once the tax return comes in. There you go. It's the right move. To buy it at Walmart for $249, that is. I don't know what you should do with your money. That's between you and God. Benji says I cheaped out in 2022 and regretted it. Time comes for us all, my friend. We kind of just talked about the fact that the PS6 is coming. Probably it's going to be delayed longer than the forecast that originally suggests. I don't have anything else to add unless either of you guys have anything super interesting to add.
No.
Okay. We'll move on to Highguard. And this kind of ties into what we've been playing because I've been playing it. Grief says, actually update. I just purchased it.
Hey.
Grief, I appreciate your dedication. I don't know if you're going to be able to play Honey Pop with your wheel, but I hope you find a way.
There's probably a mod.
Probably, I wouldn't doubt it. That's true. IGN says Highguard launched last night, a couple days ago, as planned, and met with big Steam concurrence, but also a flood of negative user reviews. The free-to-play PvP raid shooter was the big new game reveal at the end of last month's The Game Awards, but developer Wildlight then went dark until the game's January 26th release date. Highguard hit a peak of 97,249 concurrent users on Steam, a significant number for any new game launch on Valve's platform, but Wildlight will be particularly concerned by its mostly negative user review rating. Currently, and I think this is still the case now, maybe it's a little higher now, just 32% of the 15,000-ish reviews are positive, while some of the negative reviews will revolve around PC performance problems. Most criticize Highguard's game design and question some of the decisions made by developers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I got a lot to say about this, but I want you guys to sound off first. Brandon, I don't know if I know you were working all day yesterday. I'm not sure if you got a chance to follow any of the discourse. Or not, or if it even matters if you were able to. But what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this goes back to one of the big things that we've talked about on the show a lot, the whole review bombing on Steam sort of thing. I think that it's also interesting how this game kind of was thrust into the spotlight during the Game Awards, and I think that in a lot of ways it has a lot to thank Jeff for and a lot to be upset at Jeff for. I think that if it was never in the light that it was, I don't think that it would have gained nearly as much traction, but I also think that's part of the reason that it's gaining some of its notoriety right now. So, I mean, you could say any press is good press, but this does seem to be something people are talking about. So whether that's good or bad is yet to be seen. But yeah, I don't know. As far as the game itself goes, I think that the majority of the discourse that is negative is probably non-constructive from what I've seen, from what little I've seen. I don't particularly have any interest in this game or think that it even looks like something I would be interested in playing. In fact, I think it looks incredibly generic and like an amalgamation of things in the past in a bad way. But yeah, I mean, it just seems kind of uninspiring to me and not really something that I'm willing to put Arc Raiders down for in the least. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't have much more constructive other than that to say that, people are memeing on it more or less, if you ask me at this point. I don't think they're actually drawing a line in the sand. I think it is one of those things where it's become kind of a fun thing to hate on because it is easy pickings and because the radio silence up to the launch and because it being the last thing at the Game Awards. So I think that a lot of the genuine criticisms of this game are getting buried by, just diarrhea of the mouth from a very loud majority on the internet. So.
Davey, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with Brandon there. I really think it sucks that we have to keep telling this story about review bombing. But I think the thing that's playing into Wildlight's favor is the only thing that stands out more than negative reviews is a free price tag. So they have that going for them. But I think it's important to kind of point out that like there are probably a lot of people who were really excited to play this game, and if they're met with significant performance issues that get into the way of the experience, like I think that is grounds for negative reviews, and not review bombing, but honestly having that opinion out there for developers to see. Now, I do wish that more people would take a more constructive approach to that kind of stuff and join a Discord and talk to the developers directly. But this is just kind of the world we live in. Long term, I do not think that these bad reviews are going to be the story we tell about Highguard, but hopefully something else. Now, the reason that I'm not interested in this game is very similar to what Brandon said. I think this game needs its own identity, and at the moment, it just kind of looks like a mishmash of Rainbow Six Siege and Apex and a couple of other things. And it's I apart from riding horses, I'm not really sure what sets this game apart. And I watched it for a couple hours on Twitch yesterday, so I think that's enough time for something to stand out to me. But I don't know. And full disclosure, I'm not really a battle royale guy, and I think this is a battle royale. But in any case, I've been looking forward to Ben telling me what he thinks about it after I made fun of him yesterday for asking me to play with him. So,
well, I was kind of asking mockingly. In fairness, my microphone just went limp.
Yeah,
been there.
I don't know if that is an indication of anything at all. But
I swear this never happens.
It's continuing to do it too.
Just tell it. Just say, "Hey, you're so hot. This never happened. It's not you. It's me. I just had too many gin and tonics. Yeah, I just had too many gin and tonics. I swear, I'm really full. I got a headache."
Sorry, it's not. I didn't mean BR. I meant hero shooter.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to you explaining to me what exactly this game is.
Well, I don't know. That's part of it. So you can forget about that hope and dream that you were about to have. So I've played probably close to 5 hours of this game, and I'll give you my thoughts about the game in a minute. But my biggest issue with this is what you guys have already alluded to, that this game got review bombs, and I don't really understand why, because I'm not mentally ill. I think that this game, I saw this game revealed at the Game Awards like everybody else. It was the last thing in the show. I thought, not for me. I moved on and never thought about it again until this past weekend when everybody started talking about it because a bunch of influencers went to wherever and checked out the game, and then they were hyping it up and whatever. And I'm not saying whether they were being truthful or not. I have been invited to events, checked out games early, been really excited for them, and then thought they were crap when they came out. So I understand the feeling and the natural human thing that goes along with being excited. Whatever. My story's not about that. But this game just got such a bad, people were hating on it so bad. And in fairness, I rewatched the Game Awards trailer. It's not a very good trailer. People got really upset about it and then just decided to destroy it. Now, part of my job, people were like, why were you checking it out so quick if you didn't care? One, I cared because I was somewhat interested in those influencers' thoughts and everything when the game was dropping. And so I wanted to see what they were saying. If it really was as good as everybody was saying it was going to be, I definitely wanted to check it out. And if it wasn't, I also wanted to know to avoid it. But with my job, I am on Steam like half the day. seriously, I'm checking Steam things constantly. I'm refreshing to the homepage so I can check something else out. And so, of course, I saw this game pop up like within 10 or 15 minutes of it releasing. Now, mind you, you had to download it. There was no pre-download beforehand. And by the time I saw it, like within the first half an hour, it already had like 50 negative reviews, most of them with 0.1 hours played. And without an exaggeration, the majority of them said things, and I said this on Twitter, said things like poop and Jeff lied. And I'm sorry, but in the first half an hour of games out, again, without having even played a match or the full tutorial, it's impossible to know that it's terrible. Maybe in half an hour you can know that. But before you can even get the game downloaded and booted up and play the tutorial, it seems pretty insane to me that you could actually know that. And then I made a tweet about an hour into it, and I was like, this game's got 156 reviews, this many are negative, whatever. And I just think it's disingenuous. And my tweet was not at all about Highguard specifically. It's about the fact that pretty much any free-to-play game that people don't like the look of gets review bombed. Or lots of other games. Like Overwatch 2. In fairness, there's a lot of problems with Overwatch 2. But when it came on the Steam and it was free-to-play, it immediately got review bombed. And yes, I have problems with Overwatch 2. I think we've all expressed those in the past. But like, those people weren't actually hopping in and playing the game anew and checking it out. They were doing it because they have a previous beef with the game. And that's what I'm saying is my problem. Now, I don't have a problem with review bombing for some things. Like sometimes it's the only way to get a developer's attention. I understand it. But like this game, without anyone knowing anything about it other than the Game Awards trailer, people hated this game, hopped in, and immediately downloaded it. In fairness, there were some people who couldn't boot it up because it required secure boot. There were some people who were unable to get into the game because the queues were so long, which, by the way, I don't think you should review a game if you haven't played it, even if the queues are long. I just think you should wait until you either can play it or you never play it. Those are your options, in my opinion, but I'm a normal person. So I think that it was just like, I found it irritating. Now, I made that point, and unfortunately, I made the point on what is apparently not a very good game. But the point remains the same, that the review system sucks. And people are responding to me like 48 hours later being like, yeah, but look, there's this many thousand reviews. You picked 4. I'm like, when I looked, 4 reviews were like 10% of the reviews that were there. So, you know, I wasn't exaggerating at the time, but that's not the point. Again, my point is this whole thing sucks. Like the process sucks. I don't know what Steam can do about it. I had lots of people arguing in comments about it. I don't know what the right solution is. I'm not the guy to figure that out. I just know there's a problem. And it sucks when the people that we claim to be a part of, you know, we are gamers. We love video games, but gamers as a whole are just like the most toxic assholes in the world. And it just sucks to be like mixed in with that whole culture, in my opinion. Not to say that we can't be jerks sometimes too, but I think Dave called a fairly well-known group of people pedophiles at one point for no reason, but that's a different story.
That was theater.
Yeah, it was theater. And my tweet was a little bit of theater too, but unfortunately it just, it drew the ire of the people who already hated the game. And then people were like, no, people actually play the game. They yada, yada. I'm like, if you look at my replies, 80% of them said, we didn't like the look of the game. We don't want this kind of game. It's our job to tell the developers about it. I'm like, okay, but you just said you didn't like the game. Like, you didn't even play the game. Why would you review it? I just don't understand the logic is all, or the mentality of we deserve something better. You know, you don't. Just don't buy it. Don't indulge in it. And that's part of the problem too, is that free-to-play games have the same criteria as paid games for being able to review them. You just have to run the thing for 5 minutes and you can leave a review. And apparently in this game, even in this game, and I guess in Battlefield this happened too, if you couldn't get the game to boot up, it would still be running the exe or whatever in the background, like trying to get the secure boot to work. And you could let that run for 5 minutes and review it without ever having actually launched the game. And that's probably the case for many such games. This is a notable one. Going to comments real quick. Ash says the best part about Highguard was when the random guy on Ben's stream told him to step it up in his second match. Yeah, so I did really well my first match, which, who knows what I was match made against? I don't know. Probably nobody. Probably fake bots. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And I did pretty well. In my second match, I was struggling. Lagging behind for sure, playing a different character, whatever. trying entirely new guns. And the guy on my team was like, Ben, I need you to step it up. And I was like, what did you just say to me? He's like, I need you to step it up. I'm like, I don't know how to play this game. How am I supposed to step it up?
It just came out.
It just came out 14 minutes ago. Like, what do you want from me? Ash says, was it ever confirmed they paid for that spot at the show, or was it just Jeff? Apparently it was that they did not pay for the spot at the show. They were planning to shadow drop it, much like they did with Apex Legends, by the way. Different studio, but some of the same people. They shadow dropped Apex Legends after the Super Bowl. Brandon and I played it for like 14 hours straight, I think, that night. But
sure.
Jeff saw the game, offered them a spot at the Game Awards. They said we would have been crazy to turn it down. They're right. Like, that is a crazy thing. You don't know how your thing is going to be received necessarily, but they didn't pay for that spot.
They paid someone on Fiverr to make the trailer. They're just like, yeah.
It was not a good trailer. It really wasn't.
Just put it out.
What if the negative reviews were all burner accounts of Kojima's because he was mad that Jeff was talking highly of a game that wasn't his?
It could be.
That's true.
It absolutely could be. Grief says Steam is weird with reviews as well. It can show you some reviews over others. At the moment you look at it, could have pulled a bad set. Grief, are you one of these people? I looked at like 100 reviews out of the 158. I promise you, I did not pull a bad set. There were very few with anything at the very beginning of this game launching. Very few with anything over. I don't think there was a single one with over 0.4 hours played after an hour of it coming out, which is reasonable. And there were like 6 that said something that was a rational reason or an actual explanation of the game. Benji says we should review the reviewers. I saw something similar to that on Steam today, or on Twitter today. So now on to the what we've been playing section and my actual thoughts on Highguard. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to read you my tweet about the actual game, because I think that's probably I condensed all my thoughts and I'm losing my voice. Okay, I wrote, it's completely fine. It's not going to change the world, and it probably won't take me away from anything else. But I saw nothing in my nearly 5 hours that calls for the amount of hate I've seen. I had quick lobbies. I had a steady, high frame rate. It could have been better, in fairness. And it's lacking a lot of like resolution options and stuff like that. But I was playing in 1440 on a pretty good computer, in fairness, and had a steady frame rate between 90 and 100 the whole time. Again, not phenomenal, but not what some people were saying. Fun gameplay, lots of strategy, no crashing, and importantly, for all but the 2 hours I played on stream, the other 3 hours I played with friends, so it was a lot of fun playing with them. I said I think the limited game mode is going to get boring really quick, but they've announced a roadmap. Hopefully they deliver. People are having hate over the anti-cheat and secure boot. I get it. The long queues at launch are understandable to get upset about, but hardly deserving of a review bomb moments after the game launches, which was the original point. A lot of people had problems with the 3v3, and that they said the maps were too big. I personally didn't have a problem with either one of those things. Overall fun, but if you're playing something else and really enjoying it, as Brandon mentioned with Arc Raiders, it's probably not worth switching games for. So like my point here isn't that it's a great game. It's not a great game. It's fine. And it was fun. There's some strategy. Dave, it's like I don't know, it's like a mix between a bunch of different genres, like you said, none of them being battle royale. There is a hero shooter aspect, and that there are different characters that you can choose from that have different abilities, but it doesn't dramatically change the play loop, in my opinion. Like, it's really the ultimates and maybe one ability that changes.
Is Siege the closest comparison, do you think?
You know, I've not played Siege extensively myself, but I have seen that comparison a lot. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't look like that from what little I watched, but I didn't play it, so.
Yeah. I will say this, the complaints about the large maps, when you're actually in there and you're playing the game the way, like with other people that you're communicating with, and you know how it's supposed to be played, like there's a lot of strategy in where you're going, what you're looking out for, when you're trying to go and encounter the enemies, when you're getting to the other base, like that kind of stuff is fun and actually requires some strategy. And I think maybe the maps could be a tiny bit smaller, but I mean like 15%, not half as big. Maybe the teams could be larger, but I didn't see the problem with the 3-person teams. I actually thought it kept it moving pretty quickly. You didn't get ganged up on, you didn't get overwhelmed, and you also couldn't do that to the opposing team. So yeah, I think it's totally fine. And if I were to have a friend or two be like, "Do you want to play? I've got another guy. Do you want to play? You want to be our third?" I'd probably say yes.
Then you
But,
wouldn't
like,
be friends with them anymore.
Yeah, I would probably delete them off of Discord and never talk. No, I'd probably say yes, but I'm not going to go out and like beg people to play this with me. It's not that like it's a 6.5 to 7 at best, probably. But it's not deserving of 500 reviews that say this is poop 4 minutes after the game launches. And I'm being a little bit hyperbolic there, but that's essentially what happened. So that's my thoughts on it. I didn't hate it at all. I thought it was fine. It's just not for me, and I don't think it's for a lot of people, and that's okay. I don't think it deserves the amount of hate and mockery that it's getting, though. It's perfectly serviceable, which is not a good review in and of itself, mind you. I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying it doesn't deserve the hate it's getting either. Weird thing about Highguard is they have all this complexity, and somehow it all feels very similar and not very different game to game. That's very true. The game to game, match to match, it does feel very similar. It's mostly about who can, like, there is the fact that you can reinforce your base, that you can rebuild walls, you can do all this other kind of stuff. But like ultimately, it comes down to the encounters with the opposing players and whether you can kill them before they kill you or not. That's really what it comes down to. Benji said that's terrible solos. Benji, is there actually solos, or is it like you load in solo and get 2 random teammates? That's what I did for the first 2 hours I played while I was streaming it. I wasn't sure if you could actually play. I wouldn't think you could actually play solo. Derek says, I saw people online say Highguard is like Fortnite Bed Wars. I could see that, absolutely. With that said, I think Bed Wars is pretty fun. I've only ever played with my kids, but
yeah, it's probably better.
Yeah. Grief says, in the year of our Lord 2026, you could not release a 6.5 game while bangers all around. Yeah, Grief, I'm not claiming that this game should have been top of the leaderboard, top of the list, should have been on popular games, should have made $1 billion. I'm just saying it also shouldn't have gotten shit on like for days and days, because the people at the outset, maybe now there's people who are actually hating on it, or maybe there's people who are jumping in, I don't know. But at the outset, in those first 30 minutes, I dare say less than 5% of the people actually played it before they left a review. I just don't think it. I know enough about Steam and enough about players and enough about video games to know that that's just not true. It's not possible. So no, I don't think it was going to be a banger. It wasn't going to be a success. It wasn't going to make them billions of dollars. But I also don't think it's deserving of the hate. And that's my whole point. Benji says there's no solos, while playing with randoms is just not fun. You need a baseline level of co-op or teamwork. And somebody nagging in your ear telling you need to do better on your second match. It was fair. I was doing poorly, but also, what am I supposed to do about it? I don't know how to play the game. That's my mini review on Highguard. I will probably not be playing it unless the same guys I was playing it with the other night ask me to play, and I have nobody else to play anything else with. That would be the only scenario. It's fine, but that's it, and that's not good enough for me right now. But it's not, quote, poop from a butt, which is a real review. Many such. All right, what else we got? I've got a ton of stuff, but anybody else want to talk about what games they've been playing?
No, not really. I mean, I've been playing Arc Raiders. I have nothing to say.
Cool. Dave?
I've been playing Arc. I'm sure everybody wants to hear us talk more about that.
I actually do want to hear it because you haven't played with me one single time this week.
No. I didn't play much this week, but my buddy Duncan's really getting into it.
Okay.
And he's doing this whole Hacksaw Ridge thing where he never wants to fire a gun at another player. Like, he's fighting Arc, obviously, but he's like, I think I mentioned to you guys, he finally got like killed by another player.
Yeah.
But no, it's been fun seeing him kind of sink his teeth into it. But yeah, still enjoying Arc, still liking jumping in. And there was a big update this week, which I've been seeing more of the discourse online about it than I have actually experienced it. But yeah, it's cool to see. I think we have to remind ourselves that as much of a explosion this game had, Embark's really a pretty small team, and you know, they I think they struggle to kind of address things the way that this massive audience wants them to see too. But
Yeah.
this game's gonna have a long tail. So
Yeah.
I also started God of War Ragnarok, and this was, as a recap, last week Brandon and I did our new resolutions for this year, and one of my resolutions was to knock off some of my AAA backlog because I've developed kind of a big one. And I have to admit, I think God of War Ragnarok was like number one on that list of games I wanted to play. So I Sony stock jumped this week because I finally upped my subscription from Essential to Extra, where I get access to Ragnarok for free.
Oh wait,
And-
it's not included with Essential.
No, you
Okay.
have to get the middle tier to get that. So, and the
Interesting.
cool thing is there's a couple other games on my list that are also an extra. So, if I can knock this off in 1 month, then I'll really get my money's worth. But yeah, so God of War Ragnarok really feels like a part 2 rather than a sequel, which is fine. I mean, God of War 2018 was such a monumental game, and I think getting more of that is awesome, and I think there's more story to tell, and yeah, it feels great. It looks fantastic. I think so. I played like an hour and a half or so when I first started playing it, and I ended right at the first fight with Thor. And when I booted it up to play again the second time, I actually loaded an old save so I could go through that fight again. And the reason I went through the fight wasn't so much because the fight itself was great, but what was like memorable for me was Thor's dialogue. The way they wrote that guy is so cool. The way he's like this disgruntled father, he talks like, and he looks like a grizzled fucking trucker from the Midwest, and like the way he just kind of like chirps Kratos, and like he tried to egg him on and stuff like that, and I don't know, I really like the way that they wrote these characters. And I know like a lot's been written about Odin, and you know, he's played by an actual Hollywood actor. I can't remember his name, but I just love the writing in these games, and kind of the performances, and this take on Thor in particular is really, really interesting. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what other run-ins there are with him later on in the game, because I really like, you know, kind of that theme of parenthood and being a father that he kind of pushes in this game, like, you know, from Kratos' perspective and Odin's and Thor's and all that. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this game, and it's I think it's one of those games where I'm gonna look back at the first time I played it for a long time and be like, I wish I could relive that, you know, because I can replay it on repeat, but it's you know, you never forget your first. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm having fun with this for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now we're not going to go over punishments today for the resolutions. And I'm saying this because this is part of your resolution. But Dave, you did mention you have an amendment, and this is you're exercising the 7-day clause, which I just invented right before the show. You're exercising the 7-day clause to make an amendment upon your resolution.
Cooling off period. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, we only did 2 resolutions this year. The 2 of us did, anyways.
Yeah.
And so I had my AAA backlog where I want to get 2 or 3 games, and then my second resolution was to play more with the boys. And I don't feel like this is a cop out, because I still want to do that, and I'm going to do that. But 2 things were brought up. One, I have actually done that resolution before a couple of years ago, and yeah, I pointed out last week that my life kind of changed a little bit, and it would be nice to get it back into a habit of playing with you guys and other people more. But I actually had a third resolution that I want to swap in for that one. And because I'm only doing 2 games off that AAA backlog, I think I can do this. So
Wait.
Sorry.
I feel like Brandon and I should weigh in, since this directly impacts us as the boys. Before you mention the other one, and we're going to let you do
So
it, Dave. This is just a little bit of a little bit of dick punching. But
Repartee.
Brandon, how do you feel about the fact that 1 week in he's already decided he doesn't want to make a resolution to play with us more?
That's not.
Yeah, I think it would be good if you would just say, I don't think I'm going to be able to play with the boys as much.
That's
Yeah.
not. No, that's not what I'm doing at all. I'm still gonna do that, and you know what? I'll have free resolutions. How about that? Okay, so the resolution that I want to swap in, or if you guys are going to be dicks about it,
We just want to play with you. It's
You
literally
can.
the
I'm not-
opposite. It's the opposite. No, we're just kidding. You'll have two. Go ahead.
Our
Nick. Go ahead,
biggest
go ahead.
problem is we want to spend more time together.
Oh,
okay?
sorry for caring too much.
so a certain sequel was announced last year, and we don't have a release date yet, but I still hope this is coming out in sometime in 2026. But in my hype for the next game in the series, the latest platinum I would like to add to my platinum trophy cabinet is from the Darksider series. So I want to platinum a game from the Darksider series. I haven't decided yet which one it's going to be. It kind of breaks my platinum rule because every game in the Darksider series, I think you need to do a second playthrough, or you need to have a playthrough on the hardest difficulty. So, but that's okay. You know, I've done a little bit of research, and it seems like even though you have to play the game on the hardest difficulty, it's not like a Wolfenstein Platinum or anything like that. So yeah, I'm gonna platinum one of the games in the Darksiders series. I feel like it's probably gonna be Darksiders 2, only because that one recently got a remaster on PlayStation, and I think it's the best one in the series in my opinion. The first one's really, really close. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so at some point in this calendar year, I'm going to get the platinum in one of the Darksiders games.
Nice.
Okay.
Also, Dave, I looked. The reason I'm confused is because when I had PlayStation Plus, there was just the one tier, I think, and then that game library was included with that at some point. And when they transitioned to the multiple different ones, I must have gotten like grandfathered into a different tier that still included that game library. I didn't realize there's one that they introduced that's essentially below that now, where you get the monthly games but not the game catalog. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
Essentially
And kind of
gives
sucks.
you the 3 monthly games plus online stuff, and that's it.
And exclusive
Extra.
discounts.
Oh, right, that's true. And then extra is the catalog, and then I think at the top tier there's more games in the catalog or something.
The classics catalog comes with it as well as
Ubisoft, EA stuff.
Ubisoft and EA. Yeah, is it EA too or just Ubisoft? And the Sony Pictures catalog. There you go. For only $160 a year, which honestly, in this day and age, that's like a fifth of a stick of RAM. So it's pretty good. I've got a few more games to talk about and buzz through pretty quickly here. I must be on some sort of mailing list specifically for every simulator game that has ever existed. Because I got 2, and I got codes for these, by the way, this past week. One was somebody changed the wording on here, but Monster Lab Simulator and Table Battle Simulator. They're from the same developer, and they're coming out like 1 or 2 days apart, for what it's worth. Neither one of these games are goaty by any stretch of the imagination, and they don't fulfill my level of what I need from a sim to get it. The first one is the most simple. It's called Table Battle Sim. I actually was interested in accepting this code because it looked a lot to me like, do you guys remember when I was super into TCG
Yes.
Shop Simulator?
Yeah.
It looks similar to that in that you set up a shop, people could come in and play, and then they leave. Essentially, this game is basically a direct clone of that game, but with some added things that don't really add anything. Of course, you can buy products. As far as I can tell, there's only like 3 or 4 products you can buy, unless more opens up later. And have people come to the store and buy them. The price changes every day, but it doesn't really matter because the people don't seem to care how much you mark it up or not. And then the biggest part of this is that they're not buying cards, they're buying little minifigs. And you can also open those minifigs and then have people compete in your store against each other. You can also do that. The game itself seems to be like the table battle sim part of the table battle sim game actually seems to be decently like a decently interesting concept in that you collect these characters, you can level them up, you actually fight them against each other in like a real-time thing, but there's no explanation for how it works. There's no even key to what all the different symbols mean. Like this game just very clearly feels to me like a pump and dump kind of situation. With that said, there's still some fun to be had here. Like if you like scanning things into the cash register and also opening packs of things. Like there is a lot of fun. There's a normal, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. open cycle. You can hire employees to do things for you, whatever. It just feels like it takes forever, like many, many days worth of things to actually get rolling and make a decent amount of dough to be able to bump up your store. And then once you do have the cash, there's like not that many more products to buy into. Now, this is pretty early. This game doesn't technically come out for like 2 more weeks, but there was no embargo that I could find. As a matter of fact, the information they sent me was for another game called like Real Estate Simulator. That was not this game, just another game they made. So I might be breaking embargo, but they didn't give me an embargo, so I don't care. I don't recommend this. Of all the simulators I've played, and as much as I love simulators, this is not one that I recommend. If you stumble upon it, I don't even know what the price is going to be, but if you stumble upon it for $4, it might be worth a couple hours of your time if you like the mini, the table battle mini part of it. But otherwise, I don't think it's worth spending your time on. The other one from the same publisher, at least, I don't know if it's the same exact developer or not, it's called Monster Lab Monster Lab Simulator. In this game, you're essentially getting eggs, injecting different things into them, hatching them, and getting different little monsters, essentially Pokemon. You then take the new little monsters that you've hatched, you send them away for the order that you have, and you make money so that you can continue to breed and buy more. There's some objectives in it, etc., to get you going. You can upgrade your labs. This one seems a lot more thought out, a lot more in depth, a lot more mechanics. There's also an actual area that you can go and battle these monsters as you build a collection. You can upgrade them. You can not evolve them, but like combine them with other ones to genetically mutate them into another monster. This one I only put like 2 hours into, I think, because it just wasn't for me. It was like a little bit. There's too many mechanics and not enough direction, if that makes sense. And I don't need somebody to hold my hand through a game. Like, I've played enough of these things that I understand it. But it was just like, after you hatched your first monster, it was just like, good luck. And then you just had to figure it out. And everything opens up immediately for you, basically. So again, a couple hours into this, I think there's probably some potential here if you really like the idea of like breeding monsters and battling them. Like, that's a fun game loop. I didn't say breeding with, Brandon. I said breeding them. That's like a fun game loop, I suppose. But there was just like, it wasn't my thing. So of all the Sims I've played, these are two of the ones I would not rate super highly. But with that said, they both seem to be like games that perform well and look good and have some interesting mechanic that could be appealing to you. So check them out. If it's not for you, don't play them. But if it is, then now you know about them.
Remember, Ben, based on your Call of Duty rating scale, if the game boots up and works, it's 10 out of 10, right?
Call of Duty?
Exactly.
Did I say that about Call of Duty?
Exactly.
You did, yeah.
When did I say that?
I don't know, a few weeks ago.
Oh.
It was on tape, so.
Okay, cool. I'm sure that's not out of context at all.
Review the footage.
Yeah.
Someone, Chad, clip that.
But just a reminder for the audience, if you do want a monster fucking game, Viva Pinata exists. So.
Dude, that game actually is so good, and I'm
is.
so sad that Rare is squandering the amazing potential of that game.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
a
think they own
shame.
it anymore, do they?
I thought they did. Let's see.
I support it.
Grief asked, what's the name of this game again? I think you're asking about either Table Battle Simulator or Monster Lab Simulator. One of those two.
Dude,
if you
Rare
find
does.
one, you'll find the other, because there's advertisements all through each game for the other game, because they come out like a day apart from each other or something like that, which isn't a problem in my opinion. I'm sure it was different developers working under like a publisher name or something like that. But
Do the bugs fucking bug snacks? Is that
Yes.
another? Yeah.
I don't remember. I played that entire game just so I could tell everyone how terrible it was, and I could be appreciated for that.
Dude, they have to all be related. That's why they look so fucked up, all of them. But Microsoft owns Viva Pinata.
Okay, yeah,
Rare made it, but Microsoft owns.
right. I knew Rare made it, but yeah, Grief. I just want to say again, like, you can check out Table Battle Simulator. I think there's a demo for it, etc. I'm not recommending it. I'm saying it's a game that I played and did not very much enjoy. And you guys and everybody who listens, Grief, especially you're here all the time, and we appreciate you. You know how much I ramble on about sim games. This is not one I'll be talking about again. The last thing, I finally caved and bought Final Fantasy Tactics. It was on sale for $40. I had to go for it. I don't remember very much about this game when I played it a long time ago. Like, I remember loving it. But it is phenomenal. Like, it's a very much a tactics game, and it's set in like high castle speak Final Fantasy world. So like, there's a lot of in-depth story mechanics, and these people hate these people, and these people love the other one, whatever. It's great, but the real thing about this game is the gameplay. And a lot of people are like, there's not a lot of gameplay in tactics games, but there's so much strategy and in-depth thought and redoing your moves and leveling up characters, changing their jobs, etc. That I really lean into it. This is a game that I want specifically for handheld. So far, I've only played on handheld for like 1 out of the 5 hours I've actually played the game. But it's a great game to just chill and play while you're like listening to a book or something like that. The music and the voice acting and everything is phenomenal in this remake. I'm playing it with the updated graphics and the updated, quality of life stuff. I don't think the old one has. I know the old one didn't have that. I don't think they added it into the new one. You can play either classic or the new version on this, the Ivalice Chronicles of this one. So I would highly encourage anybody who's never played Final Fantasy Tactics and at all likes tactics games to check it out. If you do not like tactics games, do not play this game because you will hate it. It is a tactics game through and through with lots of like strategy, and everything takes forever and a lot of reading and clicking, and that's okay. That's what I want. But I'm just saying the game has not changed since the original as far as the basic gameplay of the game. I'll have more to talk about it. I've got another 35 plus hours to go, especially probably have to build that out a little more with some grinding built in there. I remember grinding a decent amount in the first one to get through some parts of it. So I love it. You either like Final Fantasy Tactics or you don't. And if you don't, you know it. And if you do, just buy it. Just get it over with. Play it. Anything else, guys? I think that's all. Like, I played a lot, but not a lot of anything.
That's all she wrote.
Cool. That's an hour and a half show right there, boys.
Well,
most of it was me talking about Highguard somehow.
I have such a strong desire to play Armored Core again, and I have no idea why. Did you guys play that?
No, I didn't play it.
It's really good.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's absolute cinema.
It's theater.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. Don't forget, you can check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/handsomephantom. You can join our Discord at handsomephantom.com/Discord. We'll hang out with you. Well, on Discord. On Patreon, we'll just take your money. Just being real. I think that's it. Goodbye, everyone.